This conference will now be
Working.
recorded.
I'll call to order this public council meeting to order on April 27th, 2026 at 6 p.m. And before we get started, we need to approve the agenda. Any corrections or agenda or additions? You would like to make a motion to approve the agenda tonight?
I'll move we accept the agenda.
Thank you, Councilor Webb. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Norman. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay. So I know the last couple of months we've been trying to hire a police chief. Went through all the protocols, and I think two months ago, we did look at this contract, or a month ago, we looked at this contract. But prior to that, or I guess after that, it was posted through the union, and there was only one candidate. But before I get started, I'd like to declare that I have discussed this with Sean. And so,
sounds like a good reason to have the Oregon Department of Justice.
What do we got?
Is that Ruben?
I'm muting you, just so you know.
so I have, just wanted to declare that right now. So, and if anyone else has, I hope that they would declare that as well. Okay. So getting back to the process we've chose, and then the only candidate that put in for the chief of police was, of course, Sean Carnahan. And, there was a time lapse after that, and there's some questions as how the process was going along. I thought it would be the city's best interest if we all got together and answered questions or, from staff or the candidate. I think it would be a better process where we could all get on the same page. I know Sean's been with us for quite a while, and I'm pretty sure he likes working here. I just think that it's important that I just wanted to know how far away are we from signing this contract so we have a chief of police. So that's my concern. One of the things I had a question about was a comment made by Josette about the DPSST additional training. And after just reading this right now, that question was answered. And I still have a question. Is that training contingent on this contract?
So the requirements for the chief that are listed by the city says at the bottom that I have to have the ability to obtain my management certification through DPSST. DPSST is the one that gives me that management certification. I meet all the requirements that the city stipulated for this position. However, I'm like 50 some credits short from getting my management certification, DPSST. They allow me 2 years to obtain those credits, and then they'll give me the management certification.
Where are you at in the 2 years?
No,
Hasn't even said-
the 2 years time clock would start once he signs.
Oh, okay.
To get it's 90 credits total. Sean already has 33 credits of college credit. So he needs the other 50. And then they have an 80-hour training thing that they require, but that's through DPSST, their trainings, not college. Right? And in 2 years is when they want that all done. They also have an option that you can have an additional year, like if some weird thing happens or you have short staff and you need, the city would approve, or could approve him getting an additional year to complete all that.
Go ahead, Dale.
So I'm a little confused because we went through a process. And as a council, we voted that we didn't want to be the quote employer in this process.
Mhm.
That this was going to be a contract. It was going to be serviced by the city administrator. So this seems to me a little awkward here because, asking where we're at, you can walk in her office and ask her, what's the progress on this? It seems like we're intervening into the process that we directed staff to move forward with. So to me, that's a little confusing here. We specifically did not want to be, as a council, be the direct employer of the chief of police. Because then any complaints, anything, then we're the adjudicator of that. So.
And thank you, because that was going to be one of my questions is why the question about process came up, because we went through it, made the decision, again, as you stated, as a council, we wanted hands off and directed city administrator to do. So thank you for bringing that up.
And she brought us a contract to review. We reviewed it. I know the night we reviewed it, I could read Sean's face. That's why I said something about, is it appropriate? Probably not to talk, and it isn't appropriate for us because then here we are intervening again in your job. So I think we got to have a little faith here.
Yeah, I look at it a little differently, Councilor Webb. I look at it, we're all in this together. And
Then I think you guys should be the employer.
I don't.
But that's what I'm saying. If it's we're all in this together and you guys are going to negotiate something, then you guys should negotiate and be the employer. Because what you did for me, or what you told me to do, was take the contract you had given me, take the job description that was the chief's job description, and take the budget and get the contract signed, which is what I was doing before this meeting. So that's why I'm wondering, like, I can't make more money show up here. Only the budget committee can do that in future years. I don't know what you want.
Susan, go ahead.
So you said that some questions came up regarding the process. So were those just your questions or were they from other council members?
Just mine.
Okay, and then I guess,
I-
did you go to Josette to ask about that directly? Because that again, as Bill pointed out, we had multiple meetings, we talked about it, we made an agreement, we made a cognizant and intentional decision that it was not council's job to be part of the process. So I'm not comfortable with what we're doing.
I think there were other questions that you didn't bring up, right?
Yeah, How come he doesn't have a signed contract now?
What about the questions that you asked in my office? About on-call overtime? Those were also questions,
Yeah.
right? So the mayor asked that this is an exempt position. And what about on-call and overtime? And the unfortunate part is exempt employees in the city of Vernonia do not get overtime. They don't get on-call time. And if we were to do that with one exempt employee, we could expect that the other exempt employees would be asking that of us. And financially, we don't have the money to do that for everyone. So we're kind of stuck in that exempt employees may flex their overtime hours, and overtime means in-person working, right? They can flex those with comp time. But that's what we get as exempt employees. I don't get on-call time for waiting at my house to come back to a meeting. I don't get overtime if like the windows got broke out and I'm here at 3 a.m. I just get comp time where I have to use that and flex that within the budget. So that's what I explained to the mayor.
And
Good.
like I tried explaining is that on call, you're not paying for somebody to sleep. You're paying for somebody to answer that phone and respond to a call in the middle of the night.
Right, but according to Bully, on-call is not a required payment. You're required to be paid when you're called out. And that's what we are in the thing. We get paid, you guys get paid 3 hours minimum. And the only time is if you're required to stay on site or nearby, meaning like within the city limits, that could be considered on-call, awaiting engagement or whatever it's called. But on-call at your home 45 minutes away is not on-call in the way that Boley sees it needing to be paid.
Well, we can agree to disagree on that
Well,
one.
that's what Boley says. There's no disagreeing with this Bureau of Labor and Industry. I didn't make up the rule. They
Because
did.
if you are expecting somebody to answer their phone in the middle of the night, they have a patrol car there, and expecting them to respond to a priority call, and they're stuck at home, or even if they're stuck during the day, somebody calls in sick, and whoever is on call is taking calls from home, non-priority calls, taking care of it over the phone, but having to respond to a priority call.
Right, but what I'm saying is, as an exempt employee, that person can't get that. If we're talking about your guys on call
Mhm.
and the sheriff covering, then I'm all about that. Right? I'm all about covering those on-call hours. But as exempt, I'm on call anytime I'm in Vernonia, they could call me and I have to just show up, right? Go ahead.
So it sounds like there is a question about the contract and the
There's a
language.
few questions about the contract.
So would this not be a conversation between you?
It has been, it went outside of us and now we're here.
Okay. But it shouldn't have gone outside of you two, unless you involved somebody like
No,
Ruben or something
right,
for translation.
right.
Okay, so we don't mean to beat a dead horse. So just clarification, because I'm getting old and gray. This really isn't our business. This is the business of the city administrator, the applicant for the chief of police, and potentially a arbitration type situation or
But
translation.
it's not really because you guys decided on the contract. That's what we have to offer.
Okay,
And I'm not in a point to negotiate the contract because that is what council approved.
okay. So that's why it's come back to us, because there needs to be question.
Yeah, I'm not, this isn't my contract. This is the city's contract. Josette does not
Okay.
negotiate this contract. The city does.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that clarification.
But then why did last year, we sat down in my office or at the police department and we hashed things out. And I asked you.
You mean
You're like,
the old chief contract?
no,
Yeah,
it wasn't. We added stuff to
but
it.
it wasn't this contract.
No, like I said, I
They
haven't.
saw that contract, right? I wanted to get your input on what you were expecting because we were talking about that before I presented it to them. They saw that contract and they chose to go with this contract.
Well, March 2nd was the first time I saw the final draft.
Right. And I think they approved it like in, I don't know when, the beginning of the year.
They approved it in council on the 2nd, March 2nd.
Oh, okay. Then that's when they approved it.
Okay, so that is why it's coming to us, because there is an issue with the contract.
Well, there's an issue with the amount of money the city has ultimately. And my job is the budget, and I can't knowingly go outside of our budget. And some of the changes would make us go there. So I'm not at a point where I can do that. There's no other money coming in.
Right, Dale?
Still, the correct process here is we directed you to put this contract out. So there's a negotiating impasse on it. So to my way of thinking, then you would come back to us as a council, say, well, we're at an impasse. There's a few issues. Would we entertain any changes in the contract with all the information that's
Okay.
available? And either we're going to say yes or no would be, is that not correct?
It is, but there isn't any money to entertain.
Well, yeah,
So
and I agree
then
with you. If there's no
do I
money,
bring
don't know
that
how
to
we-
you as that?
I don't know how we, I mean, but at least you're just informing us that this hasn't happened. This contract has not been entered into because of these reasons. I mean, that's just the
Right.
reality of it.
Right,
And of course, we're going to ask you why,
right.
and so then we would have that discussion of,
But I think ultimately, this is why I proposed at the beginning that nobody else has a contract. And when you have a contract, it really shouldn't be me managing it.
But we had a workshop.
we didn't want to be the employer.
Right. You didn't want to be, but you are being. That's the difference. You are the only ones that can negotiate it, but you don't want the heavy of being it. Because I can't like give him whatever he wants when the budget won't support it, and you guys are the budget committee, right? Like, you see
Yeah.
like, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I can't knowingly go, yeah, we'll sign a contract knowing it's going to take the budget out of balance that I'm responsible for. And then we're back here.
Well,
Does that make sense?
nor would we expect you to do that.
Yeah, but we're kind of like in a weird,
Yeah, it is. It is weird.
Just so council knows, I am being asked, so I've been doing this job for almost 4 years now. Okay. I am being asked to continue this job $807.60 less than what Connor was making in 2022.
I'm still making less than Bob Young was making in 1999. So that can't be and I told John that can't be a point because the city has paid city administrators way more money than they pay me right now years ago. That can't be how we started. So that's why I'm saying this is probably better off separate. Because you guys have got, in a way, where someone was my employee, now they're fighting to be something different with the people that are my employer. It's a weird dynamic.
Well, in my opinion, that shouldn't be going on.
But what we're doing right here is going on, right? I mean, it's a weird dynamic for us.
So the only avenue Sean has when he has question with contract is going through you.
There isn't a question with the contract. This is what the city said they were willing to offer.
Well, question in Sean's mind in terms of,
But if we had gone out, right, if we had gone out and gotten other, say, we went out and not internally, I wouldn't have negotiated with anyone out either. I would have said, this is what the city's offering.
Yeah.
So it's got to either be one, you expect me to negotiate or you don't. And it's not really right to try and negotiate it when there isn't the funds to do it. And I mentioned to you guys, this wouldn't be financially, originally when we talked about the contract, I mentioned to you guys that Sean would probably be taking a pay cut because of how this is worded and what his work has gotten him thus far in time and what's available to an exempt versus a non-exempt. I told you guys that when we were discussing all this. So this is that coming to a head basically, right? So that's why
Yeah.
I don't know where,
So, sounds like the contract is what it is. There's no negotiating or anything like that, right?
I can't negotiate it. If the council wants to change something, then they need to figure out where we're going to find the funds to change, whatever change you guys are going to be making to the contract. Does that make sense?
Right, and that would have been the channel back to us. We haven't entered into this contract because of these reasons. Do you want to make any changes to the contract or not? And then
Right.
all the data on the table.
So the reason
Now, I don't see a whole lot of money left in this year's budget, so.
No, and ultimately, and I have explained this to a couple of council members that came in and talked to me. Ultimately, we're suffering from a good thing that's become a bad thing. We have a very skilled set of staff. They are moving up the steps with their skills and their training and their certification, which benefits the citizenry.
And their loyalty.
Right, and their loyalty. But the downfall is we are being priced out. Our small community with the taxes it brings in is being priced out because those people, as they should, cost more and more each year. And our taxes are coming in at a flat line. And typically in the past, we've had it where one of them got tired of Mayberry and went to a bigger agency and we started with a noob. So the budget would fluctuate down again. The budget's just been going up and we're at a finite resource. So that's where I'm stuck. I would love to be able to pay everybody what they deserve. The budget won't support really any of us getting what we deserve. So that's kind of the impasse we're at. And ultimately with some overruns, I know you have the police budget right now in front of you. Let me see where mine is. I thought I had one. So you see that it's so we still have May and June. And you'll see that the salaries are at like 96%.
We're going to be over.
That's overtime, which some of it cannot be, there's no way to really cut it if something happens and there's overtime paid. But with every overtime hour, all of the other things get paid. PERS gets a payment, right? So all of those things kind of compound in the payroll expenses. The other thing that happened in the budget was IT. You know, Applin? IT went over they had a VPN project and the estimate for that was over what we anticipated. So that's down in the other expenses. And so a separate conversation that Sean and I had talked about having with you guys is turning back to the sheriff's office and saying they need to cover that on call because they don't cover anything out here.
And with the patrol levy.
Yeah, here, I got your thing.
That the sheriff went out for a couple years ago. That was all the citizens of Vernonia inside the city limits were paying 29 cents per thousand. So you figure an average home is 300,000 times 29 or 29 cents per thousand. That's like $87,000.
Yeah.
Our on-call, there's one more we need to add to that.
Oh, so
He got called out. So there's 13 on-call since July.
in 7 months, they've had to come out 13 times, which equates to about $3,000 in call out pay. But when we're paying hour for on-call, it comes out to about $27,000 that we've paid.
Which is a little over 1,700 hours a year.
Yeah.
Is this how many we've
Correct.
requested?
No
or-
priority calls out
These are 13 priority calls that we have.
during the time period that we're on call.
Right, so that's it, not like you called and they said, forget it, we can't.
No,
Just want to confirm that.
yep, no, these
They'll just,
are
if
must.
you leave a message and if it's not priority and they'll get back to you tomorrow, these are the ones they got called out for. So 13 times in 7 months. I think the sheriff's office should be doing that. And we shouldn't be outlaying almost 30 grand to have our guys not sleep well, but be on call. And we can't afford to pay it, right? So there's like all these variables that are negatively affecting in places where that's something we could control potentially, right? If the sheriff office was willing to take the, what did you say, this 33 hours a week?
Yeah, we have 33 hours a week that we're on call, that there is no coverage.
So does that work with you, Sean? If the sheriff's department was to take and cover that, then is that,
That's what they used to do.
Used to do it.
and you're good with that?
I'm good with that.
Can't
Yeah,
do
I
it.
would love not to have to answer the phone or worry about answering the phone in the middle of the night and coming up here. Because I cover 20 hours a week. And then Kendall covers 13 hours over the weekend.
And does that resolve the issue within the contract?
One of them, yes.
What's your other one, I guess?
So in 2023, that was when it was just Kendall and I. 2022, 2023, I had 935 and a half hours of overtime, 987 and a half of on-call. And 2024, 2025, it dropped down to 164 hours of overtime, and my on-call went up to 1556 because I don't know if it was Connor that put it in place or not, but there's always been a 30-minute response time. If you're on call, you have to be within 30-minute response time. And fortunately, there's only 2 of us that are, because we can't force somebody to live within the fire district or live within the city. This year, yeah, my overtime went up to 170, but my on-call went down to 1,008 hours so far. So I've been taking the majority of the hit when it comes to that. And that includes if somebody calls in sick, then I'm on call. See where my dilemma is at?
Well, and I think part of it stems from the expectation of 24-hour coverage when we don't have nearly enough officers to actually deliver that. I think we figured it out. It's like, it would take 7 to cover all vacations, all the things with then everyone's just working straight time. No one's having weirdness and everybody's set for backup shifts and stuff. We're probably never going to be able to afford that. So it's like a balancing act, right? The community and the council needs to get okay with, hey, this idea of 24-hour coverage isn't reality at this point with the current tax base we have. We need to have council make a serious movement, whether it's to the commissioners or and the sheriff. Like, this is an expectation. Our citizens pay taxes into your coffers.
Your patrol levy, not the jail levy,
Yeah,
the patrol.
the patrol levy, but also taxes into the whole system to the amount of who knows. And you can't cover 13 of, even if by the end of the year, say it's 15 events, 20 events in a year, for that, like,
That's.
and they have people on at the same time. So it's just,
You know, like I brought up, you know, you figure that just an average home in Vernonia is 300,000. That's $87,000.
Yeah.
That the citizens of Vernonia are contributing to the sheriff's office patrol levy.
And just figure this side of the crest of the hill,
Yeah.
right.
You know,
might double it.
another
It was paid
option.
for an officer.
Yeah.
And then we probably pay for an officer in our regular taxes to boot. So
Right.
just to fill that gap, if we could coordinate with each other, they should be able to cover the gap.
Is this something that could be addressed to the commissioners then? Say, hey,
I think we have to, council needs to formulate something as the elected body to the commissioners and to the sheriff's office saying, look, you've served us none, really, except for some, what do they serve
Civil paper.
civil papers. You've really had little service area over here for a couple of years. And we expect that you're doing this and this is how you could do it.
And now's actually, I'm sorry.
no, but
Now's a good time to do that, to actually appear in person at a commissioners meeting. You could even do it under citizens' comments, as the representative of the city of Vernonia. And as long as we coordinate and agree on a statement, to say, we need you to hold up your end of the bargain on here. And because they may not be aware of it. They probably are, but let's make it uncomfortable.
Well, and another option too, and I brought this up to Josette, is start the paperwork or start the process for a special policing district, you know, and that would include the whole Nehalem Valley.
So the tricky part we discussed with that is they would have to give up some of theirs, which usually the county has to be your partner in the movement of it. And it's like a 9 to 18 month process. So it's not going to be our fix right now. If it's something council wants us to move towards, we totally can. But just know it's the same reason we don't get RV lodging tax, because county parks doesn't want to relinquish any of that money they get for our 18 spots. But our 18 spots pay into that and it's not a county park. So it's like you kind of have to fight your big brother to get them to let go of some of that funding. But you guys would have to have the conviction, because if you're sending me to do it, you got to back me. I'm not doing it without,
No, I
you know what I'm
understand.
saying?
I would like to have that in-depth discussion about doing that, please.
Okay. We can bring that up. Yeah, we can bring you all the parts.
so hypothetically, if Sean didn't answer the phone,
Well, we talked about it.
I'm not wired that way.
It's not something that he's comfortable doing without something in place. So dispatch is not going to want him to just dump it. Like, he's not going to do that. He's just not that person. Some sergeants might do that. He's not the one.
No.
Because we talked about it already. And he's like, to do that without notifying them, it's just bad blood. And then does our citizenry get the cut, it could be not good. So we'd want to do it with a push, and then, hey, as of this date, we're turning it over. July 1, priority calls only. You're going to have to do that. And that might mean the other flip side of that is that might mean the sheriff's office is sending us an invoice. I think the first invoice that comes, we push back and go, okay, that's off this $86,000. Now it's 86,729.
Yeah.
Right. Or something, a little bit snarky like that. But
And I think actually what you do is you make it clear prior to turning it over, that as of this date, we are drawing from that levy. You have a responsibility. You're collecting X number of dollars from the city of Vernonia for coverage, and now we are calling.
well, from these actual citizens that need your coverage.
Right.
Yeah.
That are paying for it.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not just magic money coming from a drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
Every pocket in this room.
I think that would,
Hasn't that been the history here forever though, with the sheriff's department? I mean,
it has
we're
been,
last on the list.
it has been, but specifically that levy was supposed to have a Halem Valley deputy, which has never been hired.
If you read it,
Well, we were here,
yes,
Casey
to have
presented to us.
24-hour coverage and
We asked if there was a guarantee. You wouldn't guarantee it, but that was implied though, that we were going to see an increase in coverage.
It does. It says right here,
Yeah.
to be used exclusively for increasing
We
law
as a council need
enforcement.
to hold their feet to the fire then.
And it's on, it's recorded.
They don't want to hear the words.
I was talking.
Sorry.
You asked a question and it is directly in here to be used. The fund was going to be used exclusively for increasing law enforcement presence throughout Columbia County and increasing sheriff's office within its cities, including in this area. It's very clear in this. It's, we gotta, it's going to be uncomfortable if we do it. It's going to create some hurt feelings and some people are going to be mad. But I think it's our responsibility to our citizens to make sure that they're getting their money's worth, for one thing. I mean, if we're being taxed this much money for this levy and we're not getting any representation for it, I'm sorry, that's not appropriate. And sometimes you gotta be the mean person in the room.
Well, and I think it's totally not like we're having 75 call outs in this gap, these gaps, right? We're having 13 in 7 months.
Yeah.
That's ridiculously low. Time,
And it sounds like the amount of money that the citizens are paying through that levy more than covers
right,
what would have been.
right. Even if they had invoiced, it's like $3,600
Yeah.
against that.
against 87,000.
Right. So,
And that's just on the average that they're, 300,000. There's houses that are way more than that. So
Yeah.
out of the, was it 996?
yeah, I think it's on there.
Residents.
What's it say? How many does it say is in the city?
996.
Yeah. Households in the city.
Yeah, but we
996.
know our tax base because
No, but what I'm saying is specifically, if you went off just the
See that?
city limits.
Limits.
Yeah.
Not counting the county,
No,
that's Timber Road, Peasy,
right.
Pebble Creek.
Which they also, our guys end up serving without going, oh, you're a county, right? I mean, these guys will go, if it's a Vernonia person address, they're going. They're not, oh, call the county, sorry, we can't help you, click. So I think a strong statement, I don't know how exactly how you guys want to word it, but something that really puts into perspective. We've gotten such little from the service, the citizens that pay for it, that it's time for them to pay for that. It's time for them to call in the service.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dale.
So is the county now fully on 24-hour coverage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have 2 deputies on at night.
Okay. To hand off, so. And a deputy anywhere in this county is probably going to be quicker than waking you up and getting you going. Unless maybe Klaskin.
Maybe not him, but others.
Yeah. Not me, I'm pretty quick.
Sleeper.
Oh, that
I mean, they're already in the car, so
years. So
if they're hanging out in St. Helens, you're not going to probably beat them. I don't know where you live, but, so yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, unless they're tied up, but the odds are they'd be covering a lot of those. I mean, there might be an instance, yeah, you're going to get woke up and county's tied up and can't cover this call, but that'd be acceptable,
Yeah.
but to not cover any of them. And we're funding and we're paying call time during that gap.
Yeah. We're paying,
Currently, we've been calling call time or
we've been paying
calling
on call.
on call,
Yeah.
Right.
which we need to
Which the-
switch to call time.
Well, no, we pay on call and call out if they get called out.
Call out.
Yeah.
But we'd be more in the phase just to pay call out if our guys got called out.
Right.
But someone else is the on call being the sheriff's office.
Yeah, so on-call is minimum wage, which is 15.05, but it came out.
2053
2050.
with PERS and all the things.
Add in the bins.
And then a call out is minimum of 3 hours over.
I used to get a call time, go to work, and it called out.
Yeah.
4-hour call time, but then it cut it to 3.
But City of St. Helens, they're paying their guys $25 an hour to be on call and then a minimum of 4 hours of overtime if they get called out.
And how much time are they doing? Did we ever figure that out?
Yeah, I think it was 4 hours.
No, of the day, do we know what they're paying of on call every day?
Yeah, I think it's
Oh, 4 hours.
4 hours. But they've got the sheriff's office covering for them now.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, so they're doing what we want.
yeah.
Yeah. They're getting what we should be getting too.
Interesting.
No, I just flipped my hand.
Oh,
So is that an official agreement between them doing that? Because I'm looking at leverage here.
I think it's a sweetheart deal myself. So, but I can't confirm or deny that.
Yeah.
We need
Doing
that.
it for one, you got to do it for the others.
Susan,
so if the contract isn't adjusted to have, and I'll let somebody else really figure out the details of that. But to take you out of that position of being on call all the time, moving it over to the sheriff's office, will that allow you the peace of mind to be comfortable to accept the position? I'm not going to ask that.
Yeah.
To look at the contract in a different way, in a more positive way. And is there anything else that we need to, since we need to relook at the contract again, what else is necessary for us to look at and move forward on?
Like Josette and I discussed, the
Severance.
the severance part of it has a clause or a part, probationary part in there. I've already been doing this for 4 years. You know, I would like that removed because I think I've
Proven it?
I've proven that I can do the job. You know, and if, you know, I see that it's 2 months, I would like 3 months at the signing of it and then not have the 4th month or whatever. So, because like I said, we're already into this 4 years. But if you consider not to, then it'll be a deal breaker.
I feel like we're negotiating.
We're discussing what a contract.
Yeah, but
You can expect that the other person with this contract is going to come back to you then.
see, yeah, that's a problem.
I don't oppose the just straight up having termination without cause for the budget's sake, being the 2 months without a wait of the 2 years. But the 3 and 4 is not given to anybody else.
So to be
I don't need the 4.
But the 3 isn't either.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
it would trigger a me too
A revisit. Yeah.
from anybody with a contract. I understand that.
Because it's not a every year served gets a month.
Yeah.
Partly because we budgetarily cannot handle that. We've done big severances in the past and then we've had no money to rehire that position, be it chief or city administrator. So we wouldn't due diligence. The city couldn't give a year for a month for every year.
Yeah.
Because it would blow the budget the minute someone
Yeah.
was let go without cause. And most of your employees are not the type to have a termination with cause, I would say. The longevity of most employees, they're not going to get let go for doing something wrong against their contract.
It very seldom happens because of the litigation. So.
That's, I mean, like an outright
Yeah.
breaking of rules or something, yeah. So one of the things, knowing what we know, knowing that we have not got the sheriff's office covering, Angie's been working on the proposed budget and we're going to have to take a $50,000 transfer from the general fund reserve to balance this budget with all the payments that are slated to be paid out by the end of the year. And then ultimately our problem, that's a good problem to have with the skilled people, has the police budget being like $100,000 more next year. Just so you're getting your brain around. And the taxes went up by like $40,000. That was it from last year to this year. And we know everything else has just gone up with costs of insurance and increases and step increases and such. So just so you know. So does council want to have the proposed changes to this come back to their council meeting and they discuss it in the council meeting and decide at a council meeting? So it's not like a weird right now thing. You're amending the contract you designed.
In the interest of transparency and public input and awareness, I think that would probably be good.
Okay, so am I to understand the thing that's changing is the termination without cause? And we're going to put what the sergeant would like in there, and then you guys are going to determine if that's acceptable or if you're going to just relinquish to the 2-month severance. We'll put the asks in. Okay.
That would be
Is there
the
any-
appropriate way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pros and cons.
And then, so one of the other things that's not in here, but probably should be to solidify kind of a better feeling is the salary stays the same as the current salary with the right to have 5% merit increases, right? But the missing component is the last time we had a chief's contract, once that certification was obtained, there was a designated bump. So maybe that needs to go in here as well so that there's some solidifying that agreement, that it isn't like oh, well, you said, oh, well, we don't have it.
That would be,
Put that in there and then you guys can chew on it when it comes to you. And I'll probably get this right back to you to chew on your next Monday meeting.
okay.
I'll just put it right here.
And how do we address the on-call? Is that going to be addressed in there?
Well, no, because this person's exempt. If we go to I mean, unless you guys want to actually look at what it costs for others that are on call, that are exempt. But I don't think you do, because I would tell you the budget can't support it.
Okay.
Well,
But-
it's not going to matter because it's going to be minimum wage anyway, no matter who's on call.
It's the same, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be the same. The only difference is going to change is if they get called out because everybody's overtime is going to.
No, being in here. That you get paid on call.
No,
Because an exempt employee doesn't
well, I'll just,
typically match on call. And we can't have you do it comp because then you'd never use your comp.
but I could delegate the on-call, right?
Yeah.
I did have one question other that hasn't been discussed.
Okay.
So needing to take classes, get credits, how does that work? Is that all on your own time or is that part of your hours that you're working?
Well, I think it's on my own time, I believe.
Okay.
It's going to be online.
Okay. I was just wondering.
I think though the DPSST hours can be on your time.
Right, because those are
Yeah.
leaders, those are leadership hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I have to do, I think it's.
So many a year.
24 every 3 years? Yeah, I do 24 currently every 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
And they have, from what I got when I called to do due diligence of what we needed to expect or whatever, they said they work that with the officer.
Mhm.
So they're tracking that on their end. We don't have to worry about it at all. They'll do it.
Okay.
So that's a him, that's a them thing.
Got it.
There's actually a distinction in Foley between on-call time and what they call wait time. And wait time it's more closely with what a police officer has to do, in which case that is paid time.
Right. It isn't that I had a problem with the on-call time. It's just we can't afford 1,700 hours of it.
Yeah.
And if we're going to do it for one exempt, we're setting a precedent that other exempts could come and ask for it if they have it, which is the problem. It isn't that I don't think people should be paid their wage. It's that we don't have the money. Unless someone wins the lottery and wants to donate a lot, then we can pay everybody for everything.
I think, like I said, I think the solution to that is give the citizens what they're paying for and through the sheriff's office.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too.
I agree.
We all agree on that.
Yeah.
So
Does that need to be, and who wants to, do I bring it as a staff report and you guys do a draft or what?
I definitely think it needs to be done in a separate meeting, not a separate meeting, in a council meeting.
Yeah.
Not this meeting. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
And I'd be glad to go speak in front of the commissioners. I've done it before. I know where to go.
So I love doing that. But I think we need to be, it's the appropriate person to do it is the mayor
Yeah.
or city administrator or both. But honestly,
I think
peer to peer, it's going to be
the electeds.
the elected official, the highest elected officials who,
I think it would be good if two of you went and then like you have a drafted statement that's read and then you reiterate with information like,
Yeah.
Sure.
so that in case you get frustrated or whatever, you have something
Yeah.
you're supposed to. So do you want that as a staff report? Is someone going to draft the first one?
do you
How do you guys?
want to draft it or would you prefer
No.
one of us do it?
I'm thinking it's going to make more sense if you, I mean, we can give you the information, right? What they put, the verbiage they put here and what we think it kind of equates to. I think it makes sense for it to come from your voice. Staff's voice is easy to ignore. Where if you're like, we've been elected,
Oh, yeah.
our citizens have agreed to this patrol levy, blah, 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 from the council, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
But I just am wondering, like, are you expecting staff to keep you on it to get it done? Like, bring it to a council meeting as a thing? Someone's going to present their draft by the second council meeting of May? What is happening?
I would be willing to, since it is kind of how I lived my life.
Start a draft?
Years to start a draft with
Sure.
permission from my cohort.
And here's the amount of times in 7 months. I don't know what the last one is. Eva could let you know.
It was a Berg in progress and it was on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
You can just email it if you don't mind. Thank you so much.
And so we don't need to worry about that. You're going to bring it back to them.
Yeah, let's just get it on the agenda for the
Second meeting in May. Okay.
For the 4th,
What?
the 4th.
No,
The second meeting,
Second meeting, I'm sorry.
so 21.
The 20th. Oh, no, that's April, sorry. May 18th.
Okay. So we'll put a staff report in and then you'll get us something to put in the packet.
we'll be getting our first look at the budget by then too, so
Yeah.
that'll kind of,
So you can kind of, if it needs to add some, like, everybody's struggling with their funds and the taxes, and there could be that verbiage in there too. And then I'll bring, for the next meeting, we'll bring the contract back with the proposed asks, and then you guys can discuss that.
Do you want to do that at the first meeting? Yeah.
We'll have it,
Yes.
yeah, I'll have it in the packet for Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
There's just a couple changes, so.
Is there anything else?
No, as long as I'm given the opportunity to address my concerns, and if you guys are willing to look them over and yay, nay, then I've done my due diligence.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for coming to this meeting tonight. I think some good things came out of it. So appreciate it. So with that being said, go ahead.
Were we also going to maybe schedule a future workshop on the Nahalem Valley Patrol,
Special Patrol
Special Patrol
District.
District?
We could bring a staff report for you guys to bring your calendars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I got a question. I mean, I'm relatively new up here in the Vernonia area, but I've talked before, I've gotten some information from folks, and from my understanding is that the police department not budgeted for a total of 3 patrol officers, 1 patrol sergeant, and 1 chief.
No, that's what's available in the thing, in the CBA, but that's not what's funded. They're 44% of, you guys are right now are 44% of the general fund budget to the tune of $688,000.
So since Connor's departure, the money was allocated for his chief.
It isn't allocated by that. There, we couldn't do that. If we had a police chief and a sergeant, we only have 2 officers. It's like, meaning money wise, we don't set aside money in the budget for a position that's not filled. That the city's never been able to do that money wise.
Okay, well, anything else? Thank you for attending once again, and I'll adjourn the meeting at 6:57. Meeting adjourned.
Truly, thank you all.